Welcome to the Red and Green Report.
Orale, let's do this.
Yo, welcome to episode 4 of the Red and Green Report. It's been going really well. If you haven't checked out past episodes, be sure to hit the YouTube or the Castbox app and check out the old episodes. The unofficial sponsor of today's podcast is Mary and Tito's. Me and Soy went there for lunch today before we rehearsed, and we both had the huevos rancheros, and it was amazing. Side of chicharrones. If you haven't been yet, go to North 4th, and I don't know the exact address. I probably should have had that ready. But check out North 4th and Mary and Tito's. It's the shit. So without further ado, I have a really good friend on the show tonight. We go back, 15, 20 years. The homeboy Ken Ashley. Actually, his wife's in the building too. Cindy's here taking pictures. Yeah. So, Kenneth Ashley, he's not from Albuquerque, but he's been in Albuquerque. How long you been in Albuquerque, Ken?
I was here from 89 to 90, and then from 89 to 90, and then from 2000 to currently now. I was absent for about 3 years, but I'm back.
Nice. Ken was born in Germany, right?
Jawohl.
Jawohl. Deutschland über alles. Got the
Deutschland über alles.
got the soccer jersey on and everything. We're gonna hear his story today. And Ken, welcome, man. How you been?
Man, I'm doing good, my friend. I had a couple of rough years, but I'm doing real good, my brother.
Nice. Not only is Ken a really good friend, he's done a lot for the city of Albuquerque. He's been a staple in the hip-hop community. He's also, him and his wife ran the famous grain station on Central and Buena Vista. So, Ken, tell us a little bit about yourself. Where were you born, man? I want the people to know this.
I was born in Munich, Germany, raised in Oberammergau, my mother's hometown. Pretty much was a German kid to about age 7. And then things started changing when my father came back from Korea and Vietnam and whatnot. Yeah.
Mm. So, your mom met your father in Germany?
Yeah. My father was a soldier over there, and of course, he hooked up with my mother. They conceived me, got married a few months later.
Okay, and this is Oberammergau. Southern Germany.
Bavaria, baby.
Bavaria, yeah. That's what's up, man. So, how long did you live in Oberammergau?
For the first 6 years, and then every time my parents got stationed back to Germany, I was always in Oberammergau every summer, hanging with my German friends, whatnot. Yeah.
Cool. And how long? So you went to German kindergarten?
I went to German kindergarten, and some interesting aspects about that. I wish I would have continued my German education, but when my father came back, we got stationed in Frankfurt and whatnot, and then, of course, White Sands for a little bit, actually. And, here's this little German kid, didn't speak a word of English, and, unlike today, at that time, you're an American, you speak English only, and that's what I was taught. Mm-hmm. And guess who learned English with me? My mother. She actually taught me English. She had to learn it herself and teach me. Yeah.
I don't think I heard that story.
No, hey, man, and that's what I'm saying. Your track journey means so much to me, and I always talk about the track journey from a boy, because a lot of stuff that he says on there, I can relate to, because the discrimination he went through, and although I'm a full-fledged white boy, I went through the same thing because of my German heritage, because, here are these kids, these American kids in these military communities. I'm speaking German only, didn't know a word of English, and, you can just imagine the names I was being called. And so.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
I don't think do you know, I went to German kindergarten.
Yeah, you went to German kindergarten in Wilflecken, right?
Yeah. Well, wait. Yeah, in Wilflecken. I went with the with the Schwesters.
Yeah, with the Schwesters.
Yeah, man, with the nuns, bro.
Yeah. They pull out the paddle.
No, my kindergarten teacher, Schwester Irma, very old woman. I didn't understand what was going on, but she would pull out her guitar and she would play songs. And I thought, oh, man, this is amazing.
Yeah.
But it finally got to the point, we actually moved to a different house when we lived in Vielflecken.
Yeah.
And I went to a different German kindergarten, which I hated. It wasn't with the nuns, but it was just like more kids.
Yeah.
And when I was, the first one I went to, there were other American kids. So we hung out, we talked, we played with other kids.
Yeah.
It was fun. And then when we moved, I went to the new kindergarten, and I didn't like it so much. So my parents ended up pulling me out, and that's when I went to, I started Dodds.
So tell me this, man. When you went to that German kindergarten, the second one, even the first one, did they make you wear house shoes when you walked in the building?
You know what? No.
No?
Mm-mm.
That's amazing.
I don't remember that. Mm-mm.
Because we used to have to take our shoes off, put them in the locker, and wear house shoes while we were on school grounds.
Man.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So after Oberammergau, where did the family head to?
Oh, man, there's so many military installations in Germany. You know, we went to Frankfurt. That was tough, man, because that's when I started first learning English. And, we were talking about the name calling or whatnot. And then we went to Augsburg. I'm still trying to find myself at that time.
How old are you at this point?
When I got to Augsburg, I was about 10. And things started changing me. It actually started changing for me in Frankfurt because I was kind of bullied being, that I only spoke German. And there's this kid named Robert, this black, I wish I would know his last name. I've been searching for him years on Facebook or whatnot. He's seen that I was, isolated, somewhat introverted. He actually had me join his friends to start playing ball, eating at the lunch table together and whatnot, this little black. And maybe that's what started it for me, my start for the love of hip-hop. Well, before that was funk. And the African-American culture, which anybody knows me, if you see me walk, that's just me, man.
Okay. That's what's up. And so at this point, does your mom have records, or does your dad have rerecords?
What do you mean by records? Were they criminals? Oh, no. Oh, okay.
Not criminal records. Irma, I can't imagine Irma with a criminal record.
They got records, but it wasn't my taste of music. My father had a grip of records, my biological father, but he had a grip of records, but it wasn't something that I was fond of. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. So when did you start buying records?
Man, I didn't buy the records. My mother actually bought the records for me, and I was, this was in Augsburg. I was probably 11 years old. My mother got a part-time job at a laundromat. They had a jukebox there. And I happened to walk up in there, and I was like, man, I never heard of these names. I seen Confunction, and I'm like, oh, I got to check this out. And God, when I heard that track of Confunction on the jukebox, I fell in love with funk. And the next thing you know is my mother here, and this is a long story. My mother used to smuggle in these 45s for me. Yeah, and I was one of the spoiled kids, although, I had a little turntable in my bedroom with TV and whatnot. But she used to smuggle in these 45s when they discounted them. They pulled them out and got the new records in. She'd buy them and she'd bring them home, and then she used to be lookout for me. And I hate to say it like that because my biological father was very racist. So if he, the N-word came in his mouth a lot, and so she used to look out the window. I played my 45s, and then when he came up to the parking lot, because we were on the second story in Augsburg, she'd tell me, and I have to hide the records away. It's a sad thing, man. It's a sad thing, man.
But it's it makes for and I've said this to the other people who have done the podcast. Those stories of stress or those tragic stories. They make they add to your human experience, and they make you become a better person. So.
Definite, man.
Yeah, man. So you're in Augsburg. What grade is this?
This was the 4th and 5th grade.
And then, so after Augsburg,
my father, rest in peace, right? And I reconciled with them. He got in some trouble with the law, right? And so, he was very abusive to my mother and me, and eventually the neighbors called the polizei on him, and he pulled out a shotgun on the polizei. So the military, yeah, and you know the polizei ain't to fuck with.
Nah.
Yeah, people don't.
If it's illegal, what is it? The stinkfinger.
Yeah.
If you pull that out and
Yeah.
you can get a ticket, you know they don't
Yeah.
fuck around. Something minimal like that, yeah. But
And if they say stop, you better stop because they will shoot you. It's completely different. But so he got a rank pull from me. He decided to get out of the military, so we went to my uncle in Illinois, in Chicago, where I was up there for about a year and a half. In Chicago, Illinois, where I became a Bears fan. Go Bears!
Ooh.
Yeah. And we're taking the Super Bowl this year, baby.
So, what year is this?
This is 1979.
Wow.
1979. So I'm up there, right, and I'm in Wheeling, Illinois, north of Chicago. Loved it. I mean, made a lot of good friends. What can I say about that school system there? Not many minorities there. Let me say it like that. Upper middle class neighborhood at that time. So I go there, have a great time, I made a lot of good friends that actually visited me at the grain station just a couple of years ago, which is amazing. Yeah.
Cool.
But I used to listen, if music-wise, if you're talking about at that time, and people can talk smack. Yeah, I was listening to Chic, like La Freakless Chic, and still into my funk and stuff. But it wasn't a popular scene up there. They were more into rock and whatnot. So yeah.
So the Bears fan thing, I don't, whatever Bears, But when did you say to yourself, I'm a Bears fan?
Oh man, the funny thing is I was never a fan of anything. I claim to be a Jets fan because my biological father got me autograph for Joe Namath when he came and seen the troops in Augsburg, right?
Okay.
So, and I had a uncle there, who rest in peace, who took me to a Chicago Bear game at Soldier Field, and I seen Walter Payton play. And I wasn't a Bear fan, I was a Payton fan, and slowly became a Bear fan.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's how that worked out.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, and then Cindy became a Bears fan. God.
Yeah, she married into it.
Oh man, that's too bad. No. So you're in Illinois.
Yeah.
And then did you make a transition back to Germany?
Oh, yeah, we actually went back to Germany in 1980, right? My mother was homesick, my parents finally got divorced, thankful. I'm not going to lie about that. I think when that divorce date happened, God, man, I don't know how you could say this. It's like everything was lifted off your weight. You'd have to worry about coming home, being beaten, seeing your mother beaten, shit like that, yeah. So everything was lifted, but she got homesick, so we decided to go back to Germany, to Oberammergau. And in 1980, at that time, the Passion Play was happening. And I was fortunate, and I'm proud of this. So they were recruiting all kinds of people from the town, but you have to be born and raised there. And fortunately for me, they were a little short-handed, and because I was a kid, they asked my mom, you should have your son perform in this play, which is, I mean, if you don't know about it, it is probably the biggest play that Germany ever holds every 10 years besides Wagner's Nibelungenringe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Yeah. So you didn't know?
No.
I'll show you pictures. Long hair, my little outfit on. Yeah. So we were there till 1980. My mom's boyfriend at the time came over. After divorce, she hooked up with somebody about 6 months after, and he came over there. He couldn't find a job. It's different in Germany, man. You got to have that SOFA agreement. You got, it's crazy. And so he couldn't find a job, so he decided, basically to join the military. And that's when things started really changing for me, because we went to Florida for 6 months, and then finally...
Where in Florida?
We were down in St. Petersburg area.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Near Tampa? Is that near Tampa?
Yeah, it's near Tampa. Good school district, Ridgewood Junior High. I was a 7th grader, and the junior high was 7th through 9th. and I was the only seventh grader that made the football team, which I was proud of. But then what happens? My father joins the military, and here we go. He goes to basic training for 6 weeks in El Paso, Texas, and here we follow. And that's when things started changing for me big time.
So after St. Petersburg, you went to, where did you go?
El Paso, Texas.
Chuco
Town, my love, man. Hey, don't get me wrong. I love Albuquerque.
Hey, man, I totally understand, man. Yeah.
I love Albuquerque. Don't get me wrong. But, and when I first got to El Paso, man, it was a culture shock. I mean, my God. I was eager to go back to Germany, no lie. So here I am. We go there. We're living in a trailer park. My stepfather's E1. He's raising a 14-year-old, a 12-year-old, 13-year-old, 11-year-old, and on an E1 salary. That's incredible. So we're living in a trailer park. I'm going to McGoffin Junior High. McGoffin Junior High is in the Devil's Triangle, and it's it's a poor neighborhood.
Is that what they call it, the Devil's Triangle? That area? Yeah. Okay.
But it ain't nothing like, no, don't get me wrong. It sounds horrible or whatnot, but, I hate to tell you, and that's why I love El Paso. I mean, nothing like the neighborhoods here. We got some rough neighborhoods, especially here in Albuquerque in the late 80s, early 90s, and I'll talk about that. But, so I'm going to school, and, it's probably about 90% Hispanic, 10% white and black. And first time I seen a cholo and chola, and I was freaking out. I was like, why is this dude wearing this head, this hairnet all,
Nice.
The Dickies, everything. We're talking 1982 right now, right, in El Paso, 81 going on 82. And what can I say? It took me a little time. I was never discriminated against. Those people took me into their arms. I love him. You met one, my boy Danny.
Yeah, cool cat. Him and his wife when they came up here,
And all he ever says, yo man, how you doing, white boy? But they treated me well. Never felt discriminated. Nothing. It's funny if you're poor, you're poor. There is no such thing as race or anything. Yeah.
So what high school did you go to? This is high school, right?
That was junior high. That's McGoffin.
Okay.
So I went to Irvin High School for a year, my freshman year. Things were good, playing on the football team, hanging with my friends, whether they were, Chicanos, or if they were Mexicans from Juarez, because we had some of those students, or my friends, my black friends or whatnot. Everything was culture. Then all of a sudden, my sophomore year, we went to Austin High. At that time, that was the designated school for military kids. And things kind of changed for me a little bit. I was somewhat of a little bitch because I had the acne issue. I didn't have my confidence anymore, whatnot, right?
Hi, everybody. My name's Ken.
Somewhat introverted,
Man.
And here we are. We're doing this thing, right? And I'm just going to school, plugging away. Amazingly, people won't believe this.
Yeah.
Valedictorian of high school because I was pushing those books. And then, I did my thing. I made a lot of good friends. My boy Eddie Mack, my boy Kid Capone, whatnot. But it wasn't until my junior year where I started getting a little crazy. I think I got tired of being Mr. Good Boy, Mr. Goody Two-Shoe. Yeah.
So you're in Chuco Town. You're in El Paso.
Yeah.
When does your mom tell you, hey, Ken, we're going back to Germany?
Oh, well, see, the problem with that is that I wasn't supposed to go back to Germany. I had 3 months left of my senior year, and I was supposed to stay with my friends, Eric Gist and them, and finish out my schooling there. And the crew I joined with, the real CBS crew, I got to break that down. But the real crew I was down with, CBS City Boy Society, which was started in '84 by my boy Johnny Fullerton, Kid Capone. I used to roll with them kind of hard my latter junior year, where I started getting into trouble, and throughout my time in El Paso. And we were causing a lot of havoc. They were doing stuff more than me, but, we happened to one day get busted by the MPs coming off Biggs Air Force Base. I mean, we are rolling up joints, getting lit up, and apparently somebody's seen it. So when we rolled off base, the cops pulled us over, And you know how these military police are, man. For a little incident like that, they got 6 military police vans thinking they got some big-time dope dealers. And, yeah, so Mom didn't like that, so I had to go back to Germany.
Okay.
Yeah.
So were you doing graph in El Paso?
Oh, no. See,
Did you ever do graph?
No, I never did graph,
Okay.
man.
That's something I wanted to ask you. Yeah.
No. See, and I want to bring that up, okay? You know, a lot of people that really know me know how I love hip-hop, and I'm hip-hop.
Yeah.
But back in my day, you know, you didn't have to do an element to be hip-hop. I mean, I did a little break dancing for 6 months.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm serious. You know my uncoordinated ass, you know.
Ooh,
but
beer from Cindy.
But
Thanks, Cindy.
So, that's a lot. I mean, you got to really be. I'm trying to think the word. You got to really be dedicated to that.
Yeah.
And hurting yourselves and whatnot. Nah. Never b-boyed. Wrote some rhymes.
Yeah.
You know, I'm about my body, feeling real nice. That corny old school stuff, right?
Okay.
Did dance later on, right? You know, doing the Cabbage Patch. But my thing was fashion. My thing was the music. My thing was the culture. And that's one thing a lot of people fail to realize. You don't have to do an element to be hip-hop. You're hip-hop if you enjoy the culture, you enjoy the diversity, you love it. I mean, I don't know what else to say about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. That's what's up, man. So you go back to Germany.
Yeah.
3 months before you graduate.
3 months before I graduate, and this kind of saved me. So, like
This is Vielflecken, right?
This is Vilflecken.
But
yeah.
You went to high school in Fulda.
High school in
Because
Fulda.
Vielflecken didn't have a high school,
Yeah.
right? Okay.
Yeah. So I got kind of fortunate with this. So, you know, here I am. I'm running mates, right, with my boy Paul Anaya, man, who's now, he's in charge of the University of Kentucky Medical Department. I mean,
Wow.
yeah. So me and him were neck and neck throughout high school until I started getting crazy. Running, we were going to either be valedictorian and salutatorian, one or the other, each of us. But then I dropped. From being number 1 and 2 to like number 18 out of a class of 500 students. So I get in trouble. Mom's wasn't having that. She says, "Now you got to come with us." Right? Me, I'm crying like a little bitch. 'Cause I'm crying, man, because I'm leaving my boys, right? Here I am. I cried when I left Germany, coming to El Paso. Now I'm crying leaving El Paso. You know, it's that friendship. So I get to Germany. I got 1 quarter left. They couldn't offer me the classes that I needed because they were only offering, trigonometry, and I was already in calculus. So they sent me back a class just so I could finish it out.
Yeah.
So basically what happened is that one day I'm going to school drunk, stoned, trying to think I'm still in El Paso. And I hear on the intercom, and it says, we have an announcement for you. This is who your valedictorian. This is who your salutatorian. And then they said, we have a special one this year because his grade point average was higher, but he hasn't been here the year. We have an honorary valedictorian. And they said, they gave us the grade point averages, and they say, I think the lady girl was 3.5. My man, Joe B, was like a 3.2.
Wow.
And Kenneth Ashley has the 3.87. I hear my name, and I am drooling out of my mouth because I'm sleeping on the desk, so I'm drooling out of my mouth. And all I see, right, because nobody knew that about me, because they thought I was like, because I was always getting party and whatnot. All I seen was these eyes on me. So here I am. I got this drool coming down my mouth. I'm wiping it down, and all I do is put my head back down, wishing they never would have mentioned that.
Oh.
Yeah, I wasn't even going to do my speech. I'm glad I did.
Yeah.
But, I wasn't even going to do that. So here we are in Vilflecken, where the fun really begins.
Nice, man. So you actually went to high school with Shaq, didn't you?
Yeah, I went to high school with him. I didn't know Shaq. I might have spoken to Shaq about 2 times. He was a freshman. He was more my brother. Yeah, my brother Larry. He was more his boy, but
Okay.
But he was cool. I'll say this. I want people to understand this, right? The dude, right? He was going so fast he couldn't play ball. I had my boy Goose was dunking on him. My boy Goose is like 5'9". My man John met him. And nothing against him, right? But I will say this about him: the dude used to DJ, he used to rap. So don't think because he became a big basketball star he started then. No, he was into hip hop big time back then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember even being there when I was in kindergarten.
Yeah, kindergarten.
I remember my, being a son of teachers, I was dragged to the teacher parties, and I remember hearing like, man, this kid, Shaquille O'Neal, is a great basketball player. And then when we moved to Spain, to Torrejon in Madrid, Torrejon Air Force Base, I had a PE teacher, and I forget his name.
Coach George?
No. I'll have to ask my dad. Man, I got to ask my dad. But his son played at LSU with Shaquille O'Neal. Yeah. And I remember he would always bring in LSU, like, oh, look at this shirt my son sent me, and look at this picture with my son and Shaq, and da-da-da-da-da. I was like, oh, man, that's cool. But, yeah, so you're in high school, and this is where you meet, your good friends. Goose, really cool cat. I need to get him. Yo, we need to bring Goose back so I can get him on the podcast.
No, Goose, cool cat.
Yeah, man, that's what's up. But you meet everybody.
Yeah.
And you graduate?
I graduate. It took a while because I actually wanted to go back to El Paso. It's funny. Here I leave Germany. I'm homesick, and I want to go back to El Paso. I want to be my boys, right? But the funny thing is that I created a whole new posse, man. I didn't create it. They invited me into it. And this is where a lot of things really changed for me. I mean, El Paso taught me a lot, but some more. I'm an older guy now. So I'm there, and basically the neighborhood we lived at, right? And if you see the pictures of it, I mean, it's ghetto as hell.
Do you have pictures?
I got pictures of that.
Yeah, we need to go over those.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
So we lived on Subpost, right? And that's where the low-ranking officers live at, pretty much, right? So we live in a place that was called this, and I'm still trying to find out who started naming this. This happened years before my boy Goose or I got there, whatnot. They used to call it Little Manhattan. And eventually, I think it was my boy Tyran, Kuran G, who named the crew before I got there, the Little Manhattan Posse. Mm-hmm. So that's when if you see CBS or LMP, if you see it on my jacket or something, that's what I'm talking about. But these guys here, right, they really became very influential. Almost lost a couple of them because of my issue, because I started getting really crazy and they didn't like it. But pretty much it was just basically a bunch of brothers, me, and this Filipino cat. And what can I say? If you've never been in the military environment, those military police, and you're talking especially in the 80s, you're talking 86 through 88, when they see a white boy hanging with a bunch of brothers or Hispanics or whatnot, the first thing that comes to their mind, the only reason they're hanging is because, dope's got to be involved and whatnot. And that was the case. I was pretty much harassed, arrested 8 times while I was there, beaten down in a cell. It's crazy, man. It's.
Yeah, I think people have this idea of a military base as being this lovely Christian settlement, like, these are America's heroes. A lot of them are.
Yeah.
But shit goes down on a military base as well.
Oh, shit goes down.
Whenever we speak of law enforcement, we know that there's some corrupt things that happen. I mean, I had run-ins with military police. I mean, every CID, NCIS, the MPs, man. The things that come out of their. I was never beaten down or physically assaulted, but
they profiled you. Didn't they?
Yeah, a few times, man.
Yeah,
it was. Needless to say, it's stressful. It's like what? Like you what? What did you just say? Jeez, man.
Because you're, especially you being, a younger teen, 15, 16, 17, 18, right? Especially you, here you are. I mean, your parents and whatnot, and they got to call them in there, and they're accusing you of stuff that, it's crazy, man. And it's racism, man. It's profiling. It's straight up, man.
Yeah, military bases, suicide, domestic abuse.
Oh, yeah.
Violence, just in all areas.
Infidelity.
Oh, man.
Infidelity.
Yes. And the same things that happen anywhere in the world happen on a military base. Yeah. And I think a lot of people have this idea of like, no, that doesn't happen there. Yeah. Yes, it does, ladies and gentlemen. But so you graduate high school.
Yeah.
What'd you do after high school?
I went to the University of Maryland in Munich.
UMUC.
Yeah,
Nice, man.
I wish I would have stayed there a little longer, but I was there for a year. Had a great time. You're talking Munich, you're talking
yeah.
Oktoberfest, Salvatore Fest. You're talking about 24-hour clubs. You're talking about, a bunch of young dependents smoking hashish, drinking alcohol, whatnot. Yeah, And then we're talking about the military environment again, where pretty much you're a young man, and the availability of women. It's yeah.
And is this like your love for hip hop? Is this where it all?
No,
Was that Vielflecken?
No, my love for hip hop, man. It wasn't called hip hop back then. My love for hip hop was back when I was a kid, listening to funk.
Yeah, the records and all that. But
yeah.
Living in Vielflecken. Go ahead.
Okay, let me say it like this. I mean, of course, Sugar Hill Gang, Houdini, and whatnot. I loved them, right? But there was a lot of corny rap back when that was. So I was still listening to Gap Band, Zap, or whatnot. But I think my love of hip hop started my 85, the latter part of my junior year and senior year in El Paso, when you started getting more different type of artists, and definitely when Vielflecken came around, when you started hearing, KRS-One, Eric B. and Rakim, Public Enemy. That's when it changed a lot.
Yeah.
For me, yeah.
Okay.
Now, I mean, if you see the pictures of me, here's this little white kid with a tight curl in his head. I had a perm done, design shaved in my head. But yeah, it's crazy.
So in when you went to UMUC, did you throw any parties, or did you just go to parties?
No. Me and the boys, like my boy Danny Hester, right, and all of us, you got to realize, man, we had a campus of 2,000, right?
Yeah.
And there was probably about 8 brothers on there, maybe about 3 sisters. A lot of the kids were, white, and there weren't many Hispanics either. So yeah, we used to raid parties. We used to go to toga parties that these other people were had, and then we'd be talking smack and going to the room and blazing up or whatnot. But we didn't throw any parties, man. We were too stingy for that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's what's up. So how long were you in Munich? How long were you in?
I was
how long
there.
Did you go to UMUC?
I was only there for a year. I wish I would have did the other year, but my parents left back to the States.
Okay.
And I basically had to go because the trouble I was getting into, the sergeant major of, and this is a big thing, a lot of people don't understand, the sergeant major in Vielflecken said, hey, if Ken, one more incident with Ken, if I hear his name one more time, his ass is back to Germany. They were trying to kick me out of Germany.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
Did you have a job in Vielflecken?
Yeah, I did that summer hire program.
Oh yeah, I did summer hire too, man.
So tell me, what job did you get? Were you on the desk?
Okay, it was No, man, I had a hard one.
You cutting grass,
dude? I got kicked out of high school my freshman year.
Yep.
And summer was coming, and my dad was like, "You know what, dude? You're getting a job." So signed up for summer hire. I worked at the 86 Quartermaster in Hanau, Germany. It was a warehouse.
Breaking shit apart.
Well, breaking shit apart, unpacking trucks, sweeping, cleaning bathrooms.
Yeah.
The first day I showed up in jeans, polo, look presentable. They were like, "Yo, we want you to take these oil cans, these dusty ass oil cans. We want you to move them from here all the way over to the other side of the warehouse." I just don't think they were ready for us. It was me and my homeboy David.
They just wanted you to do something.
They wanted us to do something. So we pick up these oil cans, dude, and it was a brand new polo. By the end of the day, I looked like I had wrestled with pigs in the dirt. Like, what did I just do? So the next day I showed up, I came a little bit, all right, I'm going to wear my, what I would wear to football, the conditioning practice or whatever. But no, it was hard, man. It was, but you know what? I love that experience because I told myself I'm never going to work in a warehouse ever again. And it did condition me for football, like lifting all that heavy stuff, just constantly. The dude, Major, what was his name? I forget. He was mean. What are you guys sitting down for? Pick a move the. We don't pay you to. Smart mouth kids. Well, you don't pay us. Like
old school military. Old school military.
But yeah, man, it was a great experience. That's when I told myself, I'm never gonna work in a warehouse like this. No.
Yeah.
Never again. But got the conditioning for football. Got to hang out with my homeboy David. The enlisted military members would take us to lunch. Like, hey, you guys smoke cigarettes? Like, no, we don't. Oh, okay, cool. A lot of them were 18, 19, 20.
Yeah.
Just a few years older than us. So it was cool to talk to those people.
You weren't drinking beer at that time?
Nah, my parents are probably going to listen to this podcast, so I'm going to say no. But yeah, we were drinking beer. They, none of the military members ever, when on duty anyway, never offered us any alcohol.
Yeah.
But it was cool, man. It was a good experience. But what did you do for your?
Oh man, they sent me and Delroy out to clear fields, basically with a weed eater. And basically what they did, the Germans would drop us off, do this section. So here, me and Delroy, right? And first couple of days was tough. And I said, fuck this, Delroy, man. We got to bring some liquor, a little of this, and we enjoyed that. It was only 6 weeks. And after that, I became a KP. Kitchen police. Kitchen police, right. And that was a good job. I mean, that was good money, easy money. All you're doing is basically you're just washing all the utensils, the pots, the pans, making sure the dining room was cleaned, and making hella money. I mean, I think it was a GS5 job at that time. And that time, that's good money.
Yeah.
Especially for, what was I at that time? 18 years old. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me.
Yeah, we got paid, what was it, $5.25 an hour?
Yeah. Which ain't bad at that time.
From a kid, 15? How old was I? 15, 16?
Yeah.
I would get a paycheck, and I remember that's when I first started learning about taxes. Like, wait a minute, I worked this many hours. I'm supposed to get this, but they give me this. Like, what's my dad's like, oh, that's taxes. Like, they took taxes out of your paycheck. No, that's not fair.
So I got a question. What you spend your money on?
Oh man, video games. Okay,
records,
clothes, video games. In that order. So whatever brand new album, because at the BX or the PX, albums came later.
Yeah.
Than they would in the States. They don't hit the day it comes out. They
3
come out,
months later at times. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Just like the movies in the movie theater. Yeah. I remember when we lived in lodges, like the movies that would come out, we would get 6 months later. I think one of the exceptions was Jurassic Park. When that came out, you know what? No, we had to wait 3 months for Jurassic Park.
I was lucky. I was on launch tour. We seen it at the German theater at the
man.
Yeah.
And you know what? I don't think, because the Azor, when we lived in lodges, it's a small island. I don't even think there was a theater. I don't think there was a Portuguese theater off base. You know what? I need to ask my dad that. But if there was, it probably only was in Portuguese. It wasn't in English.
Yeah.
Like it was in Launchstuhl.
Yeah.
Because, you could watch the German version
and
or
then
you could,
Yeah.
They had both versions. I don't think it was like that in lodges. But yeah, we waited 3 months for Jurassic Park. And I remember me, my brother, and his friend Alvin, we went to the theater and we thought it was R. It was rated R, but it wasn't. So they let us in.
Yeah.
We paid, and there were so many people in there that they had to pull out fold-out chairs.
Damn.
So we sat in the aisle and watched Jurassic. Man, like just hearing this, I remember that story. Yeah, we sat in the aisle on fold-out chairs and watched Jurassic Park for the first time. Yeah.
It's still the best one, man.
Yeah, man. Oh, yeah.
So, Cass, just so you know about when he was talking about Lunchstool, about the seeing movies in English there, you got to realize that area, especially in the 70s, 80s, 90s, they used to basically call that Little America because you pretty much, especially in the 70s or whatnot, it pretty much, you could say, for every 2 Germans, there was at least one of American, and you had so many Americans down there. You seen as many American license plates on the Autobahn as you did German plates. Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah,
and in those days, you saw the U.S. Yeah, it was the little. Yeah. You guys gave me a license plate with my.
No,
initials.
it's in there. It's in there.
It's in the other room.
Yeah,
but yeah, the little white license plates with it says USA on them.
Yeah,
man. Yeah. So okay. I kind of got off track.
Bill Flecker.
Summer hire.
So I became a KP. I did that briefly, and then of course it was time for me to get my education. That's when I went to the University of Maryland in Munich.
After Munich.
So we come back and we come to Albuquerque. And
okay, I want to hear this.
All right.
Who told you were okay, Ken? We're moving to Albuquerque. Who said that to you?
My father did, because that was his next duty assignment.
Okay.
There was an Army sub branch at Kirtland Air Force Base.
Yeah.
And I was cool with that. It's like, Albuquerque, it's like 4 hours away from El Paso. Cool.
Oh, okay, so you weren't like, where the hell is Albuquerque?
No.
Where the hell am I going? You know what? Yeah, because you lived in El Paso,
yeah.
so definitely, okay.
And I already knew somewhat of Albuquerque, because one thing, El Paso being so close, and we're talking, at that time, 85, 80, even 84, 83, man, we already knew about Albuquerque down there. And, of course, in some way we were competing with Albuquerque. But Albuquerque is always and will always be known for its graffiti. Even back then, they were known for their graffiti. Mm-hmm. And we had cats down there trying to compete, and there was no way they're going to compete. So we finally come to Albuquerque, and man, was this city rough. We're talking, I came here August of 88, and I left, I think, September of 89. Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm. And this city was rough. And here I am, my parents got a beautiful house that, my mother still owns in the South Valley. And, whoa.
Yeah.
Crazy. And I had to leave, although I thought I was a thug. I mean, these cats here were rough. People have no idea. They could talk about L.A., Compton, whatnot. Albuquerque was crazy at that time.
Yeah.
It still is, but not like it was then, in my opinion.
Yeah. True. So you were here pretty much a year.
Pretty much a year, and, drank too much, smoked too much, doing some other stuff. Going to school at UNM. UNM used to be at Wet Campus. People don't realize they used to be at Wet Campus. It had a lot more black fraternity twos back then. I probably came across Steve at that time, my boy DJ3. Probably came across Stickball. I knew cats at that time like my man Rockberry and whatnot. But Trey, haven't seen him in a while. But I had to leave. I was doing some foolish stuff. I did something one day at a Burger King I shouldn't have done. And
I was going to ask you about that. I wasn't sure if you wanted to talk about it.
No, we can talk about that.
Okay,
we can talk about that. So here I am. I'm in the South Valley. White kid. No transportation. I mean, me and my brother, right, we used to roll down Central all the time in this old 72 Thunderbird, all tinted out. He'd be the driver because I'm too busy trying to slam a Red Bull and a Blue Bull, 40 ounces, and I'm getting tore up. So one night we're coming back. We come across the bridge. We go to the Burger King. What is that? Rio Bravo in Isleta?
In Isleta, yeah.
Yeah. So we're coming over there. We come across the bridge, and I say, man, let's get something to eat. It's a Friday night. It's football night. So we get in there, and I'm not going to lie. My wife's here. And I'm trying to talk to this young lady named Nicole. Yeah.
Cindy's about to kick some ass.
So I'm trying to mac on her. I'm tore up. The girl has no interest in me. I'm slurring a little bit or whatnot. So I got a brand new BK sweatsuit on, British Knights. Dope ass British Knights, shoes, everything. I'm macking. I got a little fanny pack. We used to sport fanny packs back in the day, right? It wasn't a gay thing. It was just hip hop.
Oh man!
So I'm coming in there. We get some grub. I'm talking to this girl, right? I got a little pint inside my fanny pack, and the game's over. So you got a lot of these young bucks coming in there, and you got security there. People, they believe it. The security was actually in there because that's how rough this place was. So he's there. This guy comes up to me. He's checking me out, right? And he's like, yo, what's up, Kumo, right? And I probably instigated. I said, Kumo? So I throw a blow at him. And the next thing you know, him and his whole crew, they're on top of me.
Yeah.
I got my brother Smooch. He's throwing the high chair. I know that, right? My brother Larry.
Yeah, those Burger King high chairs are no joke.
Yeah, and that's the time when they had the flannel outfits on. You remember? I don't know, the rusty color ones.
Yeah. I think I remember. Yeah.
So I got up finally, right? They kind of let go, right? I got up. I got blood trickling down my face from my eyebrow down, hitting my beautiful new BK suit. It had that little snake skin on it, right? A little white there, and his blood's coming there. And I blanked out. Man, I went into my fanny pack, and this is no lie. I know a couple of cats that can verify this. I had a little 25 in there. Thank God I didn't cock
Gun,
the chamber.
yeah, 25
yeah.
gun, yeah.
Thank God I didn't cock the chamber back. I just blanked out. I put it at the guy. I remember his face. He's crawling like a crab backwards, right? And I pulled the trigger. And thank God I did not cock that chamber. What happens next? They run out of there, all right? Cops are coming. And the cops come in there said, man, we heard there were a gun. And I said to the cops, I said, a gun? If I had a gun, I wouldn't look like this.
Yeah.
My brother, he discarded the gun, which I retrieved later. But no, it's that was pretty much when I knew it was time for me to leave Albuquerque and make my next step, which was join the Army Air Force Exchange Service or the military. And thank God the AFIS took me. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, you're here about a year.
Yeah.
Man, what a story, man. every time you tell it, like I get goosebumps, like damn. But so you leave Albuquerque, you leave Burque.
Yeah.
Where do you go?
At first I went to Fort Ord for training, right? I went through that little earthquake in '89. And that was a brief 3 months I was training.
Where's that?
That's us. That's in Cali. That's a little north of Seaside. Seaside was rough too.
Okay.
And it's probably about an hour south of San Fran. And then they transferred me for a brief month until they got me situated in Germany at George Air Force Base in Victorville. Victorville was no joke either.
Yeah, I've heard stories about Victorville. Yeah.
I mean, Cali pretty much is no joke. But you know, like I said, I mean, I've never seen nothing like I did here in Albuquerque back then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you do your training.
Do my training. They finally say, you know, I'm a single man. They know I speak German. They know I lived in Germany. They knew it wouldn't be a cultural issues. They sent me to the bomb holder. The bomb, you know.
Okay.
So I'm in bomb holder, and it's the same old, you know, I'm making good money. I'm an AFIS manager, equivalent to a GS8 at age 21.
Can you? What does AFIS stand for? Can you tell
it's the
our listeners?
Yeah, it's the Army Air Force Exchange Service, right?
It's like the Walmart of. That's how I describe it.
Well, they train together.
Really?
Yeah, they train together now.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
So I'm over there with Army Air Force Exchange Service, right? I'm 21 years old, making good money. They're paying me a salary of a GS8. Paying for my housing, paying for my utilities. My money was my money. It was for my vehicle and just party money. And here I am, 21. I haven't learned anything new. Still doing what I always did, you know, smoking hashish, drinking alcohol, and doing my thing. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Nice.
Well, you got a question?
Nah, man, keep talking.
So, you know, I'm over there, and the sad thing about it is that a lot of the cops that left Vilflecken because they were getting ready to close Vilflecken, they happened to go, the ones that used to harass me and whatnot, they happened to go to bomb holder. So basically, So basically, within a week, I was on the hot sheet again.
Oh, man.
Hot sheet.
Damn.
Yeah. I had a friend of mine that came in, because I left it, but I came back in '96, that showed me my file. It is incredible what they suspected me of, right? Because of profiling and what they actually knew of me. You know, it really is incredible. I could not believe the width of that folder, man. It was incredible, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's nuts, man. So you're in bomb holder.
Yeah, good old bomb.
Wait, so Popeyes, right?
No. At first, I was so I got hired. I was in the food part, right? So I was a Burger King manager. I was a juror, and people don't think. I mean, you know, people are like, oh, he's a fast food man. Trust me, man. When a fast food place like a Burger King on a military installation is averaging $10,000 a day in sales, that's crazy, man.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that is crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you were AFIS hustler.
AFIS hustler.
Getting it done.
Trying to get it done. Always going to work late and whatnot. Yeah.
So bomb holder is where you met your lovely wife.
That's where I met Cindy. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't meet her till a little bit later, right?
Okay.
She's younger than me, so I definitely would have went to prison on that one.
Oh, no.
But What's that? Yeah, that's why we didn't. Yeah. I'm not going to go into the whole story there. But so, I was doing what every young man does. You're going out there, you got a brand new ride. You're going to places like Spain, Paris. You're drinking, you're smoking, you're being stupid, drinking and driving, dumb. You're messing with women, and unfortunately, some of them were my employees, which I had to say, if you want to continue this, you got to keep going.
Yeah.
There were some married women, which unfortunately I think all of us military cats happen to do. I don't know, but yeah, it's I was just being me. I was just being a party animal.
Okay. Word up, man. So, bomb holder.
Yeah.
You meet Cindy. What year did you guys get married?
We met each other New Year's Eve of 92 going on 93. That was our first date, and we got married in 1996.
Oh, on the spot. This is a cool story. Where did you guys get married?
We got married in Denmark.
What city?
Hadeslev.
Ah. What number was the hotel room? Just kidding, man. What'd you have for breakfast the next day? How many times did you take a piss?
No, man. I know I had a beer the next day.
Of course. Yeah,
but yeah.
So when you got married, was there a witness? Well, of course there was a witness, but who attended?
We didn't understand anything.
No.
We had no idea what was being said or whatnot. We might not even be officially married because it was all in Danish.
Brutal. You gotta be officially married.
Well, we got the paperwork, but we didn't know what he said.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was all in Danish.
Damn. And it was cool.
Yeah, it was cool. It was a beautiful time. It was a nice little town. There's some things understood because some of the German words, but Danish is a tough language.
Oh yeah.
But so yeah, and as a matter of fact, that's when I got back from Bosnia, right? And the sad thing, I shouldn't say it like this. I said, Cindy, so I'm coming back from Bosnia, and they want to send me back to Baumholder, and to cut the travel expenses and whatnot. Would you marry me? It wasn't like I was on my knees.
Details. Oh man,
I love you, Cindy. All right.
It all worked out.
Yeah, it worked out.
It all worked. So Bosnia, how did that happen?
Bosnia was they were looking for volunteers from AFIS because what you got to realize, the Army Air Force Exchange Service, anywhere where our troops are at, you could have your political views or whatnot, but these are our troops. AFIS is there. They're supporting them. They're providing morale or whatnot, selling them product. Some of the products is ridiculous, but yeah. So when the troops first went in, they were looking for volunteers, and I was selected as one of the first members. So when I got over there, we actually drove in with the troops and the Humvees. We're being rocked because people didn't want us there. They were being rocked by bricks and whatnot. And we set up a post at camp called Camp Linda outside Sarajevo. And for me, it was fun and games because, it was rough at first. You're taking showers out in the snow because the connexes, the shower systems aren't built yet and whatnot. Yeah, but it was fun for me. I felt sorry. That's where I learned a real appreciation of these people, man. My soldiers.
How old were you when you?
I was 25, Cindy. 26.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
How long were you there?
I was there almost a full year.
Wow.
Yeah. Then they called me back from Bosnia to go to back to Baumholder.
So you go back to Baumholder, same thing. So Popeyes.
Now it's Popeyes, which soon became a food court. And
I remember did we play basketball? I'm trying to think when I played youth ball. Did we play? I don't think we did, but for some reason, my dad and I went to Baumholder, and I don't remember why.
What year?
This was 99.
I was
Oh,
gone. I was there, maybe.
Dude, we went skiing in Kimsey.
Kimsey?
And for some reason, we took the long way home back to Hanau.
I know which direction.
I don't know
you're
why
talking about.
we did that, but that's what we did. My dad had I need to ask him. He wanted to go that way for some reason, but we took the long way back to Frankfurt, back to Hanau. Yeah,
that's funny because I might have still been there at that time.
Yeah, probably, man. Yeah. 98, 99?
98, 99. I was still there.
Yep.
Yeah.
Wow.
But that is, so I did that. We converted the whole place into a food court. I was the acting food business manager that when my boy, Herr Schreiner, was on leave. Learned a lot from the man. Had a good time. Kind of regret my choice of leaving APHIS without a doubt.
Yeah.
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Remember the hip hop challenge?
Yeah, I did hip hop challenges. I did all kinds of events, trying to promote the business, trying to get the community
Nice.
involved. Yeah, yeah.
Because, even when I was, in Hanau, Anthony's, Popeyes, what was the hot dog spot?
Frank's.
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
Frank's.
Even Anthony's, some days, I'll wake up in the morning and I'm like, man, I want some Anthony's pizza.
Yeah.
You can get your picture by yourself. You
Yeah.
don't have to share a picture.
No, Cindy, my wife was just saying, man, you used to be able to get a picture of Anthony's,
Yeah.
and you didn't have to share it with nobody. You could drink the whole picture by yourself.
Oh,
you know?
man. Yeah.
You know?
But, they never did anything like that in Hanau. Well, at least, the managers never.
Well, the reason that happened is that when I got pulled out of Bosnia, they pulled me early is because, and this is what people fail to realize. Think about the military community and whatnot. You got to think about people now, like in Baumholder, right? Jeffrey Dahmer was there.
Yeah.
They had 3.
They were investigating him, right?
They were
Damn.
investigating 3
I forgot about
prostitutes,
that.
whatnot. Yeah, you got rapes, you got all kinds of shit happening. You got drug dealings happening. Regardless, don't think it's a country club. But at that time, so they called me out, and this is unheard of. They closed down that Popeyes because of sanitation issues, which is unheard of in APHIS. They actually closed down for 3 days. The military health inspectors shut it down. And then what comes out is that the previous crew was pushing more hashish than they were chicken out of that place. So it was under military investigation.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's when I inherited it. And
You came into a shit show.
Oh, but
And you
but
you flipped it.
I flipped it, but that's easy to make a shit show into a star. That's easy.
Oh,
man.
yeah, man.
Yeah.
You just need to make it a little bit better. And everybody's like, oh, my God.
Yeah.
What did you do?
Hey, trust me, guys. Me and John, we talk about APHIS a lot. John's not a big fan.
Well,
of APHIS.
I work for APHIS. Okay. I'm trying to think. Let me think. This is a good time to actually take a break, actually. So
let's do that.
When we get back, I'll tell my APHIS stories. Okay, so APHIS. When I graduated high school, I didn't know what I was going to do. I didn't apply to any colleges. I had it in my mind that I was going to blow up and be this big-time rapper.
You know
big
why,
time
right?
MC.
Because you were a delinquent. You got kicked out of school.
I wasn't. I changed my act after that happened. So I'm really thankful for my parents and my brother and my auntie and just getting back on track. But
one day you guys are going to hear about this guy.
oh man. But yeah, you know what? When we do my podcast, when we do my story, you can be the.
Have multiple of us.
You could be the interviewer, yeah, man. Or maybe I should have my parents do it. But so I graduated high school, didn't know what I was going to do, came back to Albuquerque, and I thought, well, I'm just going to stay in Albuquerque and see what happens, go to UNM, I don't know. So a good friend of mine, he applied to UMUC in Mannheim, and we had talked on the phone. He's like, yeah, John, you should come. Like, you should apply, like this and that. So I got online, I got the application, sent it in when I was here in Albuquerque, and I got like a notice like a week later, like you've been accepted. I was like, oh my God. So went to UMUC. The first Christmas break. So after Hanau, my parents they got stationed in Bad Aibling near Munich.
Yeah.
Near Chiemsee, yeah. So went back after my first semester, went down there, and my dad's like, what are you going to do? I was like, guess I'll get a job, So I worked at the PX in Bad Aibling for, how long was it? For 4 weeks. And it was small. Like, it was the smallest APHIS facility I had ever seen in my life.
Smaller than Garmisch.
Smaller than Garmisch, yeah.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. Well, maybe about the same size.
Okay.
But I think smaller, way smaller. So the PX, the Shopette, the Bookmark, and was there something else? No, it was it was a U-shaped building, and on the right side, like looking into it, on the right side of the parking lot. Oh, the car sales.
Car sales.
They were there too. It was the PX, Then it was the Shopette. Then it was the Bookmark.
And were the car salesmen Scotsmen and Brits?
Yes, they were.
Okay.
They always were. Yeah, man, you're right. So I worked, my manager's name was Karsten, and I forget his last name. Coolest manager ever. And I came in, they taught me how to run the register, debit cards, checks, all that. And I worked in the PX. And they told me when they hired me, they were like, hey, you're not only going to work here, you're going to work in the Shopette and you're going to work in the Bookmark. That's just the way it works because it's so small. Plus, they didn't have a lot of employees. So I worked in the PX for like 2 days. And then they were like, John, we have to transition you to the Shopette. So I went to the Shopette. I was trained by this dude. What was his name? I think his name was Andrew. He was actually trying to get into the NSA because Bad Aibling was a NSA facility. They had those golf ball radars, satellite. Yeah. So he trained me to work in the Shopette. Yeah, okay, this is how you do the ration card. This is how you rent out, videos, DVDs and all that.
What's a ration card?
The ration card. So I believe that comes from World War II, right?
Yeah.
When the soldiers were over in Europe, in Germany, I don't know, are there ration cards in Italy as well?
Everywhere. Every military installation.
So from World
Overseas.
War II, alcohol, tobacco, gas, and coffee all had to be rationed out. You could only buy so much a month. Maybe it was different during the war, but at that time you could only buy so much when you were over there. So so when somebody would come in and say, hey, I want a pack of cigarettes, I need your ration card. And I would, you tick off one of the boxes and then... But you know what, man? That rule was so, dumb because I would have retired military members who were there during World War II who retired in Germany come in, and I would look at their ration cards, and they're just filled up. On the outside of the boxes, on the inside, some of them were even X's, and I'm like, dude, you can't buy any more cigarettes. And I remember a retired military guy was like, yo, I was in World War II. I fought for my country. I'm not getting a new ration card. Just give me the cigarettes. And here I am, 18, 19-year-old kid, yeah, whatever, man, here. Yeah, just take your cigarettes, dude. What am I going to tell this guy?
But you got to realize, people out there, man, hey, MPs, CIDs find out about that, it's a whole different story.
And that's one thing Karsten had told me. He goes, yeah, you're going to get a lot of retired military members in here, especially in that area, because... There's a few movies and shows about it, but, a lot of military members just fell in love with that part of the country, so they stayed. Or they met,
Bavaria.
They married German women, and they just stayed in that, it's a lovely area. And he told me, he goes, yeah, you're going to get a lot of retired military in here, and their ration cards are going to be filled up, but you have to stick to your guns, John, and you have to tell them no. But it's like, dude, I'm not going to tell these guys no. Take your cigarettes, dude. Take your alcohol. Take your coffee. Whatever, dude. Yeah. So, work down there. There was another manager, and I forget his name because he was so mean. So working in the PX part, they have bikes. Yeah. And one day he told me, John, put together this bike, and I need it done in an hour. It's like, well, I've never put a bike together before, but okay. So here I am on the shop floor where people are shopping, and I'm putting together this bike, and it's 20, 30 minutes in. He comes back, and he's like, what are you doing? I was like, putting the bike together that you told me to put together. Not here. Don't do it in front of the customers, for crying out loud. Take it into the warehouse. And I'm just like, oh, God. Took it into the warehouse, which wasn't even really a warehouse. It was like a little back room where they probably filmed all the Saw movies. It was real creepy back there. Put the bike together, put it out on the floor. And I remember, the next week, he goes, yeah, somebody bought that bike. It was a children's bike, a little BMX. And I was like, oh, nice, man. He goes, no, not nice. You didn't put the wheels together properly and the wheel fell off. And I'm like, well, dude, I've never put a bike together before. I think he was messing with me, just to mess with me. Yeah, a little kid, fell off the bike. And I'm like, whatever, dude. But it was a cool job just because I had the experience of working in those 3 different places. Yeah. And I remember working in the Bookmark, which was probably the funnest because nobody ever went into the Bookmark.
What were you doing in the Bookmark?
Oh, man, yeah, looking at Playboys, whatever. But nobody ever went in there. Maybe 1 or 2 people to get magazines or whatever. Nobody ever went in there. So I love working in the Bookmark. But I went back to UMUC for my second semester, and I came back for the summer, and they hired me right away. And I think at that time, during those months when I was gone, they shut down the bookmark, and they just moved all the magazines and books into the shop bed.
Yeah.
And they used that room where the bookmark was for storage.
Downsizing.
Yeah. But yeah, man, it was a cool experience. Karsten was cool. Actually, there was a few friends that I had at UMUC who went to high school in Bad Aibling. So whenever I went back, they went back as well. And we had a good time down in Bad Aibling, man.
Is one of those guys that the cat that your homeboy in England right now?
No, Marcel?
Yeah.
No, in Berlin.
Yeah.
No, but that's where I met Marcel, was in UMUC in Mannheim, yeah. But yeah, man, APHIS, and then years later, after UMUC, I worked at the BX in Vogelway.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. Talk about a change from Bad Aibling, which was small. Like, I maybe dealt with 200, 250 customers a day down in Bad Aibling, which sounds like a lot, but it's not. Going to Vogelway and working at the BX there,
How many?
on a bad day,
Yeah.
maybe 5,000 customers.
I believe it. That's Little
Yeah.
America. The Vogelway's part of
Yeah.
Little America, yeah.
Maybe, 5,000 is a little much. Maybe 1,000, 2,000.
Nah.
It was a lot of customers. And like, I worked at that Vogelway BX for 9 months. And my parents, they had, so Bad Aibling closed.
Yeah.
And my parents got stationed in Sembach. So my dad my dad was the nurse at the middle school there, and my mom, taught at the middle school there. So I moved in back with them. So I worked at the BX for 9 months, and I was like, man, this is just too much, dude. It's too busy. I'm getting yelled at all the time. Customers are just mean.
Because you're not giving cigarettes away.
Yeah. And Bad Aibling, you could do that. You could get away with that because the base was smaller. There were no cameras.
Yeah. Yeah. No, you're right.
And at Vogelway, you had an eye on you all the time. I remember security would come down. Hey, you didn't check that person's ration card. I'm like, damn. Or you didn't check that person's ID.
Yeah.
And I remember checking IDs. I even checked an ID of one of the weathermen on AFN on the channel. And he was like, yo, you see me on TV all the time. Why are you checking my ID? And I'm like, yo, man, this procedure, like, you should know this.
No. It's like carding a 50-year-old,
So did that for 9 months. Met a lot of really cool people. I just couldn't do it anymore. Plus, I wanted to work closer to home. So I heard there was an opening for a supervisor at the gas station on Sembach. Went to Sembach at the gas station, and it was probably the size of, how can I describe it? The gas station was small. It was like the front area of the grain station. That's it. Maybe even smaller.
Yeah. All right.
So all I had to do, man, was sling gas and coffee. So in the morning, I would open. So I would show up at 5:30 to be open at 6. Yeah. And people would just be lined up to get coffee. And I would be there, boom, 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 slinging coffee. And people would just leave their money on the counter. Like, hey,
shit.
And it got to a point where, like, people knew me, like, oh, John's here. Like, hey, John, I'm getting a coffee. I'll just leave the $1 on the counter because it was only $1. So it's like, all right, cool. So they would leave the money on the counter, but I would get so backed up that dollar bills would just be piling up on the counter. So it got to a point I was like, you know what? I'm going to pocket some of these dollar bills.
I would have fired you,
Oh,
man.
I know. Looking back at it, like, even, I forget my manager's name up there, but he was real cool. He was a real cool cat. And then, yeah, man, just that little gas station. All I had to do was slang coffee, slang gas, restock the 2 shelves that we had.
It's crazy, ain't it?
I mean, the biggest sales were cigarettes and gas.
Corporate
and coffee.
America.
Yeah. And then when the truck came on, I think the truck came on Sundays. No, that's not right, because Sundays was shut down in Germany. So I think, no, Thursdays. Thursdays was the day nobody wanted to work because the truck came in and you had to help unload it and put it in the, we had this little garage that we would put all the oil and stuff in. So nobody wanted to work that day. So I was like, man, I'll work. I'm the new guy. So since I was the new guy and they put me on that schedule, I just kind of kept it the whole time I worked there. But yeah, man, APHIS was a trip. I remember going to the main office on, not Vogelway. What was up the street from Capone?
Capone.
we went to Capone one time because since I was a supervisor, I had to take like a certain kind of training. And I remember I showed up in my Nike Cortez, my knee-high socks, my shorts, and I had, I think it was a Ben Davis shirt.
And you got chewed out.
I got chewed out.
Yeah.
They were like, yo, this woman came up to me after the training. She's like, can you step into the office 309? It's like, yeah, sure. So I remember sitting there like, why are they asking me to? So the woman, I forget her name. I forget what her job was. But she goes, yeah, the main APHIS guy saw you dress like that in training. And he just wanted me to remind you that you need to dress more professional. And I'm like, whatever. You know, I'm like, what, 20 at the time, 19, 20? I'm like, whatever, dude. Like,
I mean, hey, look at me right now. I'm clean shaven. I mean, my God.
Yeah.
You know?
But you know what? One thing that APHIS did teach me something about was customer service. And, you know, it was, you know, the customer's always right. But it also taught me how to treat people a little bit better.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you go to certain places, especially here in Albuquerque, and you're just like, you never had customer service training, did you? I did a week of it. I got a certificate.
Hey, but I don't believe in that.
No. Oh,
You
yeah.
know me. You see me at the grain.
Being at the grain. Oh, yeah, dude. Yeah. The customer is not always right.
I'm right.
Yeah. But back to you. Kind of went on a me tangent there for
I
a
like
minute.
that. I like that. I don't even know where we're at right now. Shit.
So,
okay.
bomb holder.
Bomb
you get
holder.
married in Denmark.
Denmark.
What was the date again? No, I'm just playing. So get married.
I'm in bomb holder. We had the hashish. We talk about how much hashish they were selling. I was there. I was making a big name for myself in APHIS. I mean, I converted this place from a place that was making $400,000, you know, the Popeyes alone, to $1 million.
Yeah.
I inherited a Taco Bell, a Frank's, whatnot, and I'm killing it. And, you know, all I wanted to do was get into retail. That wasn't happening. But I messed up one day. My temper got the best of me, and I kind of went off on two of my junior managers. And what happens? I get called into Herr Schreiner's office, my mentor. And I expected him to back me up, but instead he wanted me to write a letter of apology. I refused to do it. So I walk across the hallway, put in my resignation, and that's when I come back to Albuquerque.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cindy, how did you feel about coming to Albuquerque?
I was ready. I don't have any ties to the States. I didn't grow up here.
It was like another move for you.
I grew up in Germany, so
Yeah.
Anywhere would have been fine as long as I
Nice.
was with my man.
Aww.
I know it sounds cheesy, but I'm not.
Mine shots.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not kidding about that though. Honestly, it was all good. Wherever he went, I was ready to go.
Yeah.
Any
So-
challenge was welcome.
Yeah. Wherever he went, you were down to go.
My
Aww.
family from the East Coast.
Pennsylvania, right?
We
You're from.
up here.
Yeah.
And I will say I was impartial to coming here. It took a couple of years, but 20 years later,
Yeah.
I call Albuquerque home.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nice.
Thank you. Yeah.
Cool. So you both come here.
We both come here. My goal was, Cindy always put in my ear, she says, Ken, you would be a good counselor, you'd be a great teacher. You know how to relate to kids. So I actually was interested in teaching, and then that kind of backfired on me because when I went to the Department of Education, I was talking to them. They said, no, you can only follow our guidelines. And I says, well, what if I see somebody that's really good in this area? I can't motivate them, push them further. I can't talk about the events of the day. No, you can't do that. I said, well, I have no interest in teaching it.
Yeah.
You know that, John.
Yeah, man. There's as a teacher, there's a lot of guidelines that we need to follow.
Yeah.
Some of them I agree with, some of them I don't.
I agree.
And but a lot's changed since that time you were
Okay.
planning on becoming a teacher. So
Should I think about it again?
you know what, man? If you want, I would encourage you to get into education. There's still a lot of things that I disagree with, and I would say that most teachers do disagree with the procedures and the plans that we need to follow.
But Lujan's doing some things for that.
Yeah, you know what? Having a new governor, I think, is hopefully it's going to be helpful towards educators here in the state. We'll see. Time will tell. She definitely campaigned on treating teachers a little bit better than how we've been treated. So we'll see, man, but if you want to get back into education, I wouldn't,
And you got, I just praised Lujan. You got to realize I lean a little to the right. I'm not a Trump fanatic, so don't think that. But I lean a little to the right. I do like what she's saying about music in the elementary schools, music and art. I think that really is needed. I think these kids need an outlet. I love the thing about pay incentive. I mean, these teachers aren't getting paid a damn. But so here I am. I'm thinking about doing that. So I need a job, right? And this is where I come into the LA Underground. My brother, right, I give him props, man. He was looking out for me at that time. So he gives me a job at the LA Underground. And this is, at that time, man, it was in its infancy stage.
What year is this?
Oh, man, this way, when I got here, was like 2000. So it was it was in his infancy stage. He had a store in San Mateo, and he had the store in Central.
I remember the store on San Mateo. Your brother,
my youngest brother,
Ryan.
Right,
I remember going in there. He had the what do they call them? The trucker shirts.
Yeah,
the Dickies shirt. Yeah, and I bought. What did I buy in there? Big Red. Yeah. I remember your cards. It's like Smooch, Ken.
Yeah, Ken. Yeah,
Big Red, San Mateo. I remember my brother and I went there because it was closer to where my aunt lived.
Yeah,
and that's where Hometown Heroes is now, in that same mall.
Exactly.
Right?
It's a little bit further north of it. Yeah.
But we went in there and same thing. Opened the book for the mixtapes.
Yeah.
Like, oh man, he was like, "What are you looking for?" I got the Eminem. I got the, I got the Tupac. I got the Bad Boy Killer. Like, and I was going nuts. Like, I want this, and that. But I can only afford these two. So, I remember that store. It was a real cool store.
So here I am. I'm back in Albuquerque, let my hair grow out, and it grew, and it grew, and it grew. I looked like Rick Rubin at one point, and my beard was all nasty and whatnot. So I'm back in Albuquerque, and I'm working for my brother, going to school. It was a part-time gig at first, and I kind of fell in love with the place. I fell in love with, you got to realize, I've always considered myself hip-hop and anybody I talk to, but when I came here, when they were talking about underground hip-hop, hip-hop was, because in my opinion, I'm in the military environment, we were listening to DMX and German, but they were talking about cats like Atmosphere and whatnot. And like, and in my mind, I was thinking like if John would have came up with KOS, here's my mixtape. Oh, you're not on a label, you ain't good enough, so I ain't gonna listen to it. You know what I mean? So, was I wrong? Oh my God, there was no CD selection in that place. The vinyl selection was pretty decent, right? But no CD selection or whatnot. So I kept getting questions. When can you get some Anacon? Yeah, I ain't an Anacon fan and whatnot. Can you get some Atmosphere? Why everybody asking about Atmosphere? Who the hell's this Slug dude, right? So that was my man. We don't talk anymore. That was my man, Chris Webster, right? And I said, okay, let me try this out. So this is what happened. Let it flow, baby. Let it flow. So I'm in there. I'm finally, I was like, fuck it. Let me start really working in this place. Let me do my magic, which I did because I became the LA Underground. And and so I'm in there. This is what happened. Chris Webster started saying this. So I started ordering Minimal from TRC Distribution. At that time, it wasn't Orchard. It was another one. So I'm ordering these CDs, 1 or 2 copies of each. They started selling. I'm like, oh, my God. So the next week, I ordered 2 or 3 copies. I started adding to the collection. Boom. Yeah. It started selling. All of a sudden, I see this CD, this title called Binary Star.
Yeah.
Masters of the Universe. I was like, okay. And this is what changed for me because when I heard that CD, I was like, oh, man, Underground is for real.
Yeah.
So I ordered that CD. I play it, and instantaneously, that became one of my favorite albums of all time.
Oh, yeah.
And that built a new relationship for me. So I ordered 3 the first time. The next week I ordered 10. And this is no lie. I started ordering 30 packs. A 30 pack, then 60. And that's when my man One Below said, yo, Ken, this is binary land. Because everybody that came through there
Yeah.
got a binary star CD.
Well, that's how I heard
Yeah.
a binary star going
Yeah.
through LA Underground.
Yeah.
And you were like, you would always try to put, like, you tried to put me on the Anticon shit.
Well,
Props to Anticon, they were doing their thing.
Yeah,
It just
yeah.
wasn't my cup of tea, man.
and it was never my cup of tea, except for maybe Josh Martinez. Josh Martinez, I give some props because a different
Sleep,
cat.
right? Is that Sleep?
No, the Josh Martinez.
I'm thinking of another cat.
He's a
sorry.
Jewish cat.
Okay.
His name is really Maxwell something. Josh was pretty cool, but that's when things really started. I was like, oh man, this. And I started tripping, man. I was like, because here I am in Germany. I don't know about the underground scene. The whole b-boy scene, man. Matter of fact, if you think about that, I thought b-boying was dead, right?
Yeah.
But then in 1997, I went to Ball the Year in Offenbach, where Kamel became b-boy of the year and stuff, and like, this shit is really going on.
Yeah,
Hip hop has never died.
Oh, no, it never will.
No, it never, and it never will.
And it never will, yeah.
And it's back to the state it should be at. It's back to the culture and the people that really believe and love this culture. It's not this mainstream stuff. So I was doing that stuff with my brother, right? I was building it up, man. I'm taking gambles, right? And I made some bad choices on some of the CDs. I ain't gonna lie, but I love this city.
Word up.
And I love Albuquerque, and there's a culture here. And I'm going to be honest with you. If you can live in Albuquerque, you can live anywhere.
Yeah.
Straight up.
Yeah,
straight
word up,
up.
man. Definitely.
Straight up, man.
Cool. So you even you did some time in you lived in Denver for a little bit.
Yeah, so, we were expanding at that time, right? And we had a store in El Paso, and then we, then Larry got into the paint game, and then we decided, man, let's broaden out. I didn't want to go to Arizona. Arizona probably would have been a better choice, but I just didn't want to deal with the heat.
Yeah.
So I'm serious. I'm German, right? So, I mean, it's hot enough here. That's too hot. So I said, I'm willing to go to Denver. So, I sold the crib, right? Did all that. Went up to Denver. Things didn't pan out the way I wish it would have panned out.
Yeah.
A lot of cool cats up there. I met a lot of cool cats.
Yeah.
But that's the funny thing, though, because, that's when I knew that I was a Boqueño, because when I went up there, and anybody that went up there from Albuquerque that went to visit me, they always see me either in a Duke hoodie, a Lobo hoodie, or whatnot.
Yeah, man.
And the funny
man.
And the funny thing about this is, though, this is no lie. Those thugs up there, right? When they see that Lobo, that Albuquerque stuff, they ain't thuggish anymore. I hate to say it like that, man. I'm telling you, man.
Man, so you go to Denver.
Yeah.
How long were you in Denver?
I was in Denver for about 2 years.
2 years. And
it wasn't like that we were forced to close it. We had an issue with the landlord. That punk motherfucker, some rich ass kid living off his daddy's money. I must have insulted him. People that know me know that I got a mouth, and
oh yeah,
yeah.
Oh yeah, we know, Ken. We know.
So he had my car towed away one day, and the shit just flew off there. So the next thing I know is my brother rolls up there about a week later. He's like, man, we're fucking packing this shit up. We're getting everything, and I can't believe it. I like that what he did, but he actually took all the lights off the building.
Wow.
He's like, fuck, they ain't getting shit. And those lights are still in my garage.
Oh wow.
I don't know what the hell to do with them, man. But no, these cats, they pulled my own place for my own towing thing, right? We got into it. It almost got knuckled up, and it was time, That's when I was talking about the grain. I was talking about having my restaurant. It wasn't called the grain at that time. I was talking about having my own place. We were me and my brother at that time, we were thinking, because he was thinking about, what are you going to do, Ken? And I said, I always wanted to open my bar, and that's where that happened.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Dude, what was the name you had before it was called the Grain Station?
We didn't have a name. I mean, that's something,
How did the Grain Station, how did that name come about?
Well, we were talking, me and, we were talking about what we're going to do inside. And, we had ideas, and I'll give my brother this props. He was talking about a subway on the wall. I said, okay, so we don't know what, not the train station, the grain. And I think it was Cindy that brought up the grain station.
Okay.
I think it was her, right? And that's when everything started flowing with that. And I was working for like a full year on that place.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah.
So when that happened, then all the ideas started popping in the head. The railroad tracks in front of the door when you walked in. That was my idea. The whole cassette bar table, the table concept, hip hop, right? And here, this is supposed to be a German restaurant. I got all this hip hop paraphernalia. So that's how that all popped off. Once that hit up, my mind went brainstorming. My wife's blah 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 blah. My wife's mind went brainstorming, and that's how the grain started evolving. And man, I miss it. I miss that. Yeah. It's not so much the location because the grain station will open again, but it's my peeps, man. It's people like, like Omega, like John. It's like all the friends I met. Don, Denise, Darren, Catherine. It's all these cats that I met and that embraced me.
Yeah, you formed some real positive relationships in that place. Yeah. And it kind of became a meeting place for all of us. Yeah. Like, sometimes you want to go where everybody, that was our cheers, especially in the student ghetto in the university area. Yeah. And we just love going there. Yeah. And not only that,
I was an asshole sometimes.
That's another podcast. We got to do, you should do the grain station stories. But, you met a lot of cool people there. Met a lot of fucked up people there.
A lot of fucked up people, man.
but it was a good time, man.
I mean, there were cats like Jared Andrea. I mean, there's so many cats. I mean, I can't even mention them all. Dallas, Clinton, fucking Boston Bill. I mean, one of the most racist cats you ever heard, and we just tolerated it, Of course, my boy Stickball. I mean, and I've known Stickball for like 15 years, man. Yeah.
Word up, man.
Yeah.
And so one of the main things about the grain station was the hip hop theme.
Yeah.
And kind of to branch off, you had the bar top. You had it was a table. It was a sorry, man, I've had a few beers.
Yeah.
It was a regular bar top, but there were cassette tapes inside the bar top covered by a glass sheet. I guess that's how you would say it. How did that idea come about?
I don't know. It just happened one day, man. I was thinking about I was turning a table upside down. What could I fill in this table, right?
Yeah.
And cassette tapes came at me because I always had that hip hop thing in my mind. Yeah. I wanted boom boxes in there and whatnot. And all of a sudden I said, no, the bar top would be the spot.
Yeah.
And I built that thing by hand. I was proud of it.
Man.
And of course, somebody broke it, and the other people broke it, and I had to keep replacing the goddamn glass.
You know what though? You never replaced the glass.
No, I never did.
What did you put over it?
Some caulk.
Oh man.
But
it just added. Oh, it added to the character of the bar.
It added the
restaurant. But go ahead.
It was a conversation, and that's the thing I wanted. I wanted the conversation thing, right? I wanted cats to come in there, and don't think this was a hip hop restaurant. I mean, most of the cats weren't even hip hop.
I want to say this
to
the hip hop heads here in Albuquerque.
Yeah,
it was a hip hop bar.
No, I mean the music or whatnot. Yeah, but that's. I mean, there are 3 cultures I love so much. I mean, 4 cultures. My first culture is my German culture.
Yeah,
the second thing is I love hip hop.
Yeah.
Hip hop. I love the African American culture. I love the Chicano culture. I mean, these are the places I lived at, and these are the people I grew up with. These are the people that embraced me. I mean, what more can I say? I'm a blessed man. I mean, I made some bad choices, but I'm a blessed man because I got the greatest friends in the world. Greatest friends.
Word up.
Straight up, man.
Yeah.
And that's hip hop, man. Yeah. And that's the thing. If you're hip hop, man, you got to love your culture. You got to embrace all other cultures. Hip hop. Hip hop got Obama elected. I'm telling you, man.
Yeah.
That's my personal belief.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, especially when Obama was campaigning, I think that was the height of Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Google. Like it was in its I guess you could say, golden era.
Yeah.
And he definitely used that to his
definitely.
advantage.
Definitely.
But there were also hip hop artists, Jay-Z, what's his name? Young Jeezy.
Yeah.
You know, they were making songs, you know, My President is Black, you know.
Yeah.
And it definitely pushed forward that campaign
Yeah.
to
It
help
definitely
him.
did.
Yeah.
I really believe that, man.
Yeah.
I really believe that.
Well,
Now-
you know what? I got to correct that. I think those tracks came out after he was elected.
But
But even during the campaign, there were artists that were making songs about him running. Yeah.
But what I'm trying to say is that my generation, okay, because I'm 51 here, so I'm a little bit older. That in the 80s, right, if you were hip hop, right, I'm gonna be honest with you. I never experienced racism in my life except for those fucking MPs in Ville Flecken, right? Except for them. I was never disrespected by a Chicano, a brother, or whatnot. I think in that era, when you were hip hop, you embraced the culture. You didn't look at the race. And I think that those of us that were hip hop, we brought that further, and we didn't see the color of anybody, whether it was a president or whatnot. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. Word up. Yeah.
I really believe that. I hope that's true. I really do. Because if that's true, that means we're making progress in this country. Because progress, I mean, we see a lot of progress with gay rights, but a race issue is oh man, I haven't seen much progress. I haven't seen much at all.
No.
Yeah.
Then, you know, there's definitely a lot that this country needs to build on.
Yeah.
In a positive way. And it's just not happening. It's just not happening.
That's hip hop, man.
And that's why I say, you know, people tell me, oh, I'm thinking about becoming a teacher. And I'm like, yes, you need to become a teacher. Or, you know, I want to study to do this, you know, open community center. Or I want to create places where the youth can meet and talk about these issues. Yes, do it. You know what I mean? Like, as long as it's positive and you're helping out the youth and you're helping out the community, go for it. Yeah.
I know, I agree, man. But I might have rambled on there.
Oh, no, you're good.
But no, I'm serious about that, man. Hip hop is a beautiful thing. Man, poverty is a beautiful thing if you think about it. It really is. It really is. It shows you who people really are, and it's a beautiful thing. Yeah. I'm done with that.
Oh, man. So, yeah, the grain, man, it was definitely a great experience. Cindy's choking me. Stop it. But,
and the grain's going to come back. It'll probably be in Chuco Town.
No. So, props to El Paso. Props to Chuco Town. Word up. But you need to keep the grain. And this is not just my opinion. It's the opinion of many people in the city.
I know.
The grain needs to stay in Burke, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. So being that this is the red and green report.
Yeah.
And I know you're not a big fan of spicy foods.
Yeah.
But if you had a choice, what would you choose on a plate? Red or green chili?
Isn't green chili a little bit milder than red?
Well, that's the opinion of a lot of people. But it can be spicy, too, at the same time.
So long as it's mild or less, I'll eat it. I mean, don't get me wrong, people. I mean, I used to, man. I ate chitlins. I ate pickled pig feet. I used to be jalapenos. The hotter, the better. Green chili. I used to love my menudo in El Paso at the flea markets.
Wow, yeah.
But I'm an old man, guys. I'm 51. My stomach can't handle it. You know, and I hate running to the bathroom. I hate to say it like that, man. I really do, man. Yeah. But, I mean, I still love green chili. I just can't do it.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so that's the problem.
One of the main things, sorry.
You're still trying to get me on this, right?
One of the things, the greatest dishes ever served here in Albuquerque was at the grain station, and it was the German nachos. Now, I can't recall. Oh, yes. Yep. It was Domer?
Domer.
Domer created the German nachos. Yeah. Did you guys put green chili on that?
If they requested it, we did.
If they requested it. So it was possible for it to be served.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
Give Delmer props.
Yeah, Domer. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
No, the German nachos. No, the German nachos were raw. Domer did the Zack and cheese.
But-
The German nachos was actually
Cooper.
Wasn't
it Cooper?
No, they suggested some. No,
Compilation.
yeah,
It was
them and what's the girl's name? The girl from New York, Sam. So you got Cooper and Sam. They actually suggested,
right.
and then Domer.
He put it together.
He took their advice and he created something that both of them. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So
But
Domer is involved.
That's right. Domer did the Zackwurst.
The Zackwurst, the Zack and cheese, and he helped. They suggested and he helped create the. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Freedom in the kitchen.
Because
Yeah, freedom in the kitchen.
because that
Nice.
was coming on the menu. We were going to call it the Ascension Nachos.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because of Sam and Coop. Yeah.
Well, German nachos definitely has a better ring to it. But I get why it would be called the Ascension Nacho. Yeah. That's where they worked, right?
Yeah,
that was
well,
the shop.
Yeah, but we could
Okay.
have said German Nachos, aka Ascension, something. I was working on that stuff, and
Oh,
I hate to
word.
tell you guys be happy because I was going to increase those prices over there. Beer prices now
No, you weren't.
$2 PBRs weren't going to happen
Sometimes you
anymore.
want to go where everybody knows your name. Dun, 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 dun. And it's at the fucking Grand. Yeah, I was working on a jingle. I was working on it. Nah, man. But yeah, the German nachos. Okay, so what I loved was the green chili on the brat. Now, you can add green chili to anything and make it amazing.
You can.
I just didn't know that you could add green chili to the brat and it would be,
Was
man,
that green chili every week?
no. The green, where did you guys get your chili? Can I ask that?
Build it ourselves, bro.
Where did you get it though?
No, sometimes we my mom and them, they would actually chuck them themselves. Is that how you would say it? Chuck it? I don't know.
Yeah, you peel it, roast it, peel it. Yeah.
Sometimes it depended on business. It depended on the time of the day. We got some Hatch green chili.
Okay.
There was another green chili. I can't remember, but yeah.
Lematar?
Could be. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I used to do all the shopping, but yeah. No, but yeah. I mean, this is a funny story. You're right. You can add green chili to everything. You're in New Mexico. You better have green chili. You better have green chili, right?
Yeah.
This is what happened one time at the Lobo Beast. The guy, right?
Tell this. I know the story, but tell it, yeah.
Now, this is funny, right? So here he is, right? Oh, man, I'm going to tell you, man. I wish I had the money for that place. I really do. There's so much potential there. I would even kill it even further, right? Because I was actually looking at this spot. But this guy, right, I'm not going to mention his name. He said, no, we're not going to serve green chili. We're not going to serve green chili. For some reason, he hated green chili. Was he from India? What was he?
I don't know where he's
Pakistani
from. To
or
be
something?
honest. I don't know where he's
Yeah.
from.
And when the person said, well, you're making a bad decision because, you're in New Mexico, you're in Albuquerque, you got to have green chili, right? He refused to serve it. Look at his business now. Just because not serving green chili closed his business, man.
Well, I heard he actually wanted to put it on the menu or the flyer or whatever and have it say, "Are you tired of green chili? I am too," or "We are too."
No, you're right.
And I don't know, man. Like, that's just a bad business. I don't know. I guess if you wanted to do that and kind of drive in a population that doesn't like green chili, I don't know, dude.
We're in Albuquerque.
Props. If that was your idea, props. Like, you got you got guts. But yeah, man, we're in New Mexico, man. We're in Nuevo, so you gotta have green and red chili. You know what I mean? At least the side. Like, come on. But
Yeah.
so you would steer more towards green? Is that what you're saying?
I think the reason I say that is I don't know if I've ever had red chili.
Oh man! Don't say that on the podcast.
Man, I'm telling you, I mean, you got to remember, it's 51. I used to eat all this crazy stuff, and now I'm like, damn, I don't like running to the bathroom. That's all I got to say.
Oh man! So okay, but more towards green.
Yeah.
I get it. You know what? I'm gonna take you out one day, and I'm gonna have you try a bunch of different, not spicy,
Okay.
but a bunch of different
Mild or less?
mild or less
Okay.
green chili. Yeah, man. I even got some chili here from Lematar that we bought. Where did we buy it? I forget. I gotta ask my mom. But I'll make some stew or something, and you can. Yeah. Green chili stew, you can try it.
1 or 2 spoonfuls. That's about it.
Yeah. But I wanted to also ask you, what's the advice you would give to somebody who wants to start their own business?
Oh man. Okay, I'm going to tell you this. There's a couple of things. First, definitely a lot of dedication, a lot of hard work, a lot of hours. That you got to be well aware of that.
Yeah.
Never give up. Never give up. Things will get better. Be dedicated. Make sure whatever your business is that you're focusing on the right things. If it's a restaurant, it's definitely cleanliness and sanitation. Always customer service.
Yeah.
Something I was never always great at. No, you follow your dreams, and you make sure that if you're going to open a business, that you have a savings that can last you at least a year, because the first 3 years is tough.
Okay.
Yeah.
Something I really admired about you and Cindy, I remember you would receive, like, one of the many nights I was there, you would receive like a $20 tip from one of your customers.
Yeah.
And I remember being like, oh man, you got a $20 tip. Like, that's amazing.
Yeah.
And you were like, yeah, I'm going to put this right back into the business. Like, I'm not going to buy beer with this. Yeah. I'm not going to buy a shirt. I'm not going to buy a German soccer jersey. This is going right back into the business. And I was like, well, what do you mean by that? He's like, oh, you were like, I'm just going to, this money is going towards rent. It's going to go towards buying beer, food, whatever. And I remember thinking, damn. And you told me that's what I do with all my tips.
Yeah.
I put it right back into the business.
Yeah.
And also another thing that I really admired about you all was that if something went out, like the refrigerator or the ice machine or the door broke or whatever, you guys didn't call anybody to come and fix it. You guys did that yourselves.
Yeah.
And I remember there were a few times, like, I showed up to the Grain and, like, there was a closed sign, like, we are closed today for repairs. And I'd look up and there's fucking Ken at the air conditioner. Like, John, I got to fix the air conditioner. It went out. Da, 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 da. Like, you didn't call anybody. Like, you did that. You did that. You guys did that.
It's called.
And I don't think a lot of people don't understand, like, that was one of the reasons why you guys were so successful, was because you guys knew how to fix those issues. Or I remember you even saying, yo, John, I went on YouTube and I figured out how to fix the ice machine. And I'm like, fuck, dude, I don't have that kind of attention span. Like, I would have been like, fuck it, buy a new ice machine, you know?
Oh, you see me tiling floors and all that, right?
Yeah.
But no, I mean, it's all about cost, and every penny counts. And that's the truth. Every penny counts. I love working with my hands. I never thought I had this capability. I mean, I basically built that place and rebuilt it. I redid the floors in there. The foundation was going bad. I did it. I tiled the floor. My wife tiled the floor. It's everything to minimize your expense, and you have to minimize your expense if you want to succeed. And the sad thing about it is that we were in business for about, Cindy, about 2 years, 2.5 years? They say it takes for a restaurant, right? 70% of businesses fail in the first year. Within 3 years, 50%, right?
Yeah.
I made a profit in my second year. I was profiting.
Yeah. Word up, man. And I think, you know, you go back to the customer service. Like, I remember seeing you like, fuck, Ken's stressed out. Maybe just have one beer today and go home and kind of leave him alone. Or, you know, oh, Cindy's like in the kitchen. She's slinging, you know, she's cooking it up. But, oh, man, I forgot what I was going to say.
But about stressing out.
When you were stressed out, like, people would be like, oh, Ken's stressed out again. I think that added to the positive atmosphere in the Grain. Yeah. So,
They were feeling bad, but like, no, I love you so much. What can I do for you?
yeah.
Like,
And
we love this place. Let me help you.
yeah. And even just that atmosphere, like, you, like, what do you want? A beer? Oh, God. All right. Hold on.
No. So let me say it like this, and I agree. I mean, there were a couple of times I shouldn't have been the way I was, and I regret that. But I had so many customers that really cared about me. They wanted to see me succeed. They seen how much hard work we put into the place, which is a blessing.
Yeah.
But a lot of that stress too, right? I'm not going to go into that, man. It was some behind the scenes stuff that was happening, and it had nothing to do financially. But hey, don't take it on your customers. I fucked up on that, man. I fucked up on
man.
That,
I don't think you took it out on the customers. Everybody gets stressed at their job and they hide it.
Yeah.
I don't think you ever hid it.
I can't. I don't hide nothing, man. You know. Yeah. You see me angry. I mean, I'll go right up to it.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
even, you know what though? You went off on people who definitely deserved it.
Oh, definitely, man.
Definitely deserved it.
Yeah.
And hopefully they never do that again. I
Yeah.
mean, they probably will, but you were like, yo, yes.
Yeah.
Finally,
Yeah.
somebody is going off on an unruly customer.
Unruly customer
Yeah.
or some motherfucker that says some racial shit. You remember that time,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, definitely. But yeah, man, shit. I think we'll end it on that note.
I think we're gonna end it on that, man. Hey,
Yeah.
Burke, I love you. Chukutown, I love you. Germany, I love you.
Peace, man. Thank you for coming through.
Hey, thank
Cindy,
you, man.
we got to get Cindy on the podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that.
Cindy, you're next. Episode 6. I have a homeboy coming through tomorrow to do the podcast, but
I'll put you in my schedule.
yeah, nice. Let's do it. Peace.
Peace.
Love you guys too. Peace.
Prost.